Hi there, thanks for checking out the Astromech project that I've been working on for Star Wars Squadrons. It's just a simple little program. You can download the setup off of GitHub, and it'll give you this little shortcut here, and you're able to run it, and you get this simple little window with three options to consider. First off, your droid's name is treated as a wake word, like with a smart speaker, like Alexa or Google. Um, and by default it's R2, but you could put whatever you want in here, like T7 or whatever other droid um, you want. Um, Putting it in phonetically can also work. You just can't use symbols. And then you have the option to disable the wake word so that it just listens to commands all the time. I'm going to leave that on for this demonstration. And then you have the amount of silence or the amount of time of where the input gets silence before it turns itself off, just like on a smart speaker. So by default, that's 10 seconds. You can go up to 100 seconds. You cannot go negative seconds. If you go negative seconds, things will break. But anyway, that's the time in seconds that it will take to turn the droid off if it is not getting any input from you. Now, if we go ahead and hit start, that will save any changes we've made so that the next time we load the program, as a matter of fact, I'll quit and reload it here. Notice it puts in the changes that were made, so you don't have to do that every single time. And so start functions is a start and a save button. So go ahead and hit start. And now we're going to switch to, oh, it thinks it heard it, but it didn't. So I'm going to wait for 10 seconds and it's going to turn itself off. So I'm going to open up the Astromech again and just wait 10 seconds to turn off. And there's our turn off word. So now we're going to go ahead and wake it up again. T7. Give me shields. Give me engines. Full power to weapons. Forward deflectors. Rear deflectors. Balance deflectors. Deploy countermeasures. Deploy countermeasures. Fire countermeasures. Oh, I'm not empty. There seems to be an issue with using OBS where it doesn't like OBS for whatever reason. I think it's because OBS is also tapping into the audio like the program is. Fire countermeasures. There it goes. If you're doing long streams of text, it might think they're all jumbled together. It's still a bit of a work in progress, but it is functional. Deploy countermeasures. Forward deflectors. There's also some targeting things in there, but I'm not going to go over the full command list right now. You get the idea. Just voice control. Now, the last part of this setup is, and I just wanted to demonstrate it before we actually got there, but if you go into your options, you do need to remap some keys. Because the way that this works is the program will simulate key presses when it hears a voice command. So I've got it set up right now to just use the default keyboard controls for that. And this will work if you're flying with a controller, and it won't like switch you back to a keyboard input while you're doing it. And so I would assume it also work with a joystick, but I don't have a joystick. So again, I'm using all default keyboard controls. So if you've changed them, you'd have to switch them back to default for this to work. In the future, I'm hoping to add the ability to map your own keybinds into Astromech, but at the moment it just uses the default. Except in one case. By default, when you're going to focus your shields, or if you're an Imperial or you're flying a TIE fighter, you have the power converter. It's bound to the mouse, and mouse inputs were not working. I actually have a feeling that Squadrons blocks mouse input for cheating or anti-cheat, which is good. Anyway, and by mouse input I mean programmatic mouse input. Anyway, so the mappings you need to add are right here. Focus the shields to front needs to be mapped to the number 9. And none of these are numpad. This is all the buttons that are on top of your keyboard. If you use numpad, it won't work. So focus shields to the front, number 9. Focus shields to the rear, number 0. Focus shields balance, minus symbol. Convert power to engines, 9. Convert power to weapons, 0. Convert power to balanced, minus. It thinks it heard a different command. Let's see, which one's F12? I can't remember. Like I said, there's a couple kinks to work out, but this is the first functional version, and I wanted to share it quickly. So if after you've made these keybinds, and like let's say you do have a joystick and you want to use this, and maybe you've already mapped your joystick to these parts, like you could go over the mouse. As long as the input is mapped correctly in there, it'll work. And nothing else has been changed, just those. And then you're pretty much good to go. The only other thing I need to show you, and we'll switch back to my desktop for a minute, is the command list. And I've tried to make this modular out of the gate. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my list of commands right here. There are 42 total commands, and more detailed setup instructions for this are in the README file on GitHub. But 42 commands. Every single control that you have has 2 commands mapped to it. And I did that so that you could have some kind of creative license to it. And so if you want to change these, you just need to navigate to the commands file in your install folder, which is wherever you installed it when you set this up. And then you can go through this list of commands and you can change things at will, except for a couple rules. There have to be 42 commands exactly. There cannot be less than 42. If you do that, you'll get weird behavior where commands cause the wrong thing to happen, and you cannot have more than 42. That will crash the program. And then you need to keep everything on a separate line. So the only way that you could do this safely, like say instead of full power to weapons, I wanted to have it be like, let's blast them or something like that. Then that would change the command over to the word to the words let's blast them. And it would keep full power to weapons as well. But that would be a safe change to make. You cannot add another weapon charging command into it because it does rely on there being exactly 42 commands. So you can change these at will as long as you replace them and you don't like add one into it and you don't take one away. Other than that, you've got 2 controls, as you can see, for a ton of things. And then for an explanation on what some of these controls are for, I mean, like some of them are obvious, but then some of these down here, like what's show me the fodder or target fodder, well, that targets AI ships. But there's an explanation for what these do inside of the README. But I've tried to set this up to be customizable. So if you go in here and you change these these commands, whoop, I don't need to actually save that. Then you'll get whatever voice commands you want. They should be in lowercase. I think they'll work in uppercase, but if you just type them all in lowercase, that's safer. Once again, thanks for checking out Astromech. I hope you have some fun with it. I'll probably do some tweaks in the future. I'm hoping to add the ability to do keybinds, but I'm not sure what kind of a task that's going to be. So we'll see. Anyway, thanks guys, and have a great day.